Welcome to episode 186 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm Ryan Walton. Today, I'm joined by Dan Reamer and Matt Belden.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Good night.
Yeah, you got it all. Thank you for having me here today.
I'm covering all the bases for whenever someone decides to listen to this.
Why don't you tell them good night, though?
Because I'm a uniter, not a divider.
Just in case they turn it on, listen to that, and turn it off.
That's weird.
No, because if they're listening to it at, like, say, 10 o'clock at night, it's still a good night.
I would go with something like, thanks for making us part of your night.
I think it's been I think this is something that's been confused by most people, is good morning, good afternoon, good night is simply a way of annotating that this is a good moment in this time of day. Good night doesn't necessarily mean you have to go to bed. That's how we perceived it over.
Correct. You have to go to bed.
No, I agree with Dan.
If
anyone
on this looks you in the eyes and says that, you have to immediately go get in bed.
I like that idea too, though. Like, you just drop your shit and go.
Like you're outside doing something, someone's like, good night, you just fucking walk off and go get in bed.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. But I agree with Dan. Like, you know, based on the way that words work, technically you should just be able to say that to anybody. Just good night.
There's the people who take pictures of all the club kids, and put them in like the city magazines or whatever. That website here is called IHadAGoodNight.com.
Right.
Meaning it's a good night.
Men that banged.
No, not always.
Got lucky, I think is what you mean.
It's usually looking like they're about to, though, because they're always, wasted 23-year-olds dressed up in hoochie costumes,
Hell yeah, I like them hoochie costumes.
Body's still working good.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I know exactly what it means.
It means I get a lot of junk email about ED medication.
Oh, I got it.
When you roll over to 30 years old, I guess.
You start noticing.
It checks a box somewhere that the ED emails need to show up.
Right.
And I can't make them stop.
I've been getting them for so long that I don't even notice them anymore. There's just a folder. I delete it once a week.
Yeah, that's the thing is there's just no sense in... It's like the Hydra. If you...
like, why delete them?
If you check off that little box that says if you don't want to get these anymore, just check here.
But that means it's subscribing for 10 times more.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You cut off one head and two more pop up.
And part of the problem is that I like to read them.
That is the problem.
Right.
That's the entirety of the problem. That's not part of it.
They've got red receipts on them.
Right.
And you read them and they're like, let's send this guy more. He's clearly getting the message.
But I like to read them because they're obnoxious.
Yeah. Of course I'm going to send them $1 million. I'm trying to save a country.
Right.
Anytime you get one that's from a guy named Tony and the subject line is your dick too small, I don't know how you don't open that up.
You always get them from Liz, LYZ. It's like, I'm trying to fuck right now. Yeah. You're like, yeah.
Hey, Liz, we just met.
Right. Jeez, Liz, how many people did you email?
Just you.
Right.
I like their email addresses. They're always like YHB7ZZ647 exclamation mark at some bullshit.
Yeah,
right. That's like at YZF.com. Like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah.
Burners, man. They got burner emails.
How do you get burner emails? I want a burner email.
I don't know. It's not as dramatic as like when you're in front of Walmart and you toss a burner phone, though.
Right.
Like you just click delete on an inbox. It's not as impactful to like a crowd.
Right.
Doesn't send quite the same message.
I've always wanted to drop a flip phone, smash my foot on it, and then pick the SIM card up, break it in half, and then throw the whole thing in the trash.
Just to see the looks you would get, you have to do it like in the middle of the mall or something.
Yeah. You have to say a little bit of something first, though.
Well, you take a call on it, and you say something like Benjamin Franklin, and then end and snap it in half, throw it on the ground, smash it till you get the SIM card out, smash that in half, and then throw all of it away.
Franklin.
No, you don't even. You just got to stand there and like kind of stare off, and you be like, "Yeah, understood, no problem, sir. It's taken care of." And then you just toss the phone, like because the phone doesn't have anything on it anyway. And then you just toss the phone in the trash can.
You look around first.
Yeah.
And then you drop it in there, and then you walk over to the next trash can, and you put a white chalk X on it. And then you walk off.
And then you get arrested.
For what?
You're going to jail that day.
Because that's
For
where they think the
what?
bomb's supposed to go.
Since when
Right.
can't you put chalk X's on things?
It's going to happen.
Under suspicion.
I promise you that's what would
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd go to trial, and I'd say, since when can't you put a chalk X on things?
And they'd say something about looking out for the public safety and the good of society before the rights of
I'd
individuals.
say, how many people got hurt with a piece of
blah,
chalk?
blah, blah. They're going to say
Right.
because they help prevent that. I don't think you understand how police
I
work.
did not throw a piece at the
No
judge and
matter
say, did
how-
that hurt?
No matter how wrong it is, what their reasoning is, that's still what they're going to do, and they're going to get away with it, too.
Right.
No.
Yeah, Matt is correct.
Yeah.
I'd put a suit made of chalk on, I'd walk into that courtroom.
Technically, you're right. You should be able to walk around and just put chalk X's on whatever you want to and piss on the sidewalk.
Well, I mean, at the
and-
very least, you're going to get hit with vandalism.
Yeah, at the very least, but what are you going to
How did it
like,
escalate to
put some-
pissing on the sidewalk?
I don't. It could be, I'm just saying, like of the harmless
I'd go
things you
take a
can
dump
do.
in the field if you want. That's all I'm
you're
saying.
gonna, if it's something harmless and it can be misconstrued as something that could put
Right.
others in harm, dude, they're gonna cuff you, take you away, and
Right.
hold you for as long as they can. And they're going to give you that shit of, it's for the safety of the public because we can't be certain that you're not doing something shady.
Right.
It's fine.
And-
I'll go to court and tell them there was a Pokemon right there, and I was marking it for everybody.
And no matter, there's no like burden of proof that you there's nothing that you can explain to them of how they have to present, or how the burden of proof lies on them to present that you were doing something wrong and that you're innocent until proven guilty. Like that shit's out the window now. That doesn't exist anymore.
You took this really fun scenario
So-
and you crushed
Yeah,
it.
hey, everybody's going to jail all the time now. There's no fixing that.
Because we are a constitutional republic, people,
I'm not going. They'll never take me again.
not a democracy.
Dan's really mad at this guy that he met this weekend.
It was a
this
a
week, I
civil
guess.
conversation. But, okay, here's what...
You definitely took it out on Facebook.
guessing-
You went home and took it out on Facebook.
I'm guessing you want me to tell the story, okay?
You can if you want to.
So I'm standing here at this. It's a grocery store called Wegmans, and here in New York we have the bottle deposits for recyclables. So I was standing in line waiting to put those in the machine. And there's this guy who's just got he's probably a few years older than me. He's just got like a small bag of them, and I have like a cart full. So we're standing there waiting, and apparently he's one of these people who cannot stand silence, and isn't really good at speaking with others.
All right.
So all of a sudden, this guy turns to me, and you got to remember, I'm standing here minding my own business. I've been doing this for about 10 minutes. Just standing there, minding my own business, just watching people put that, because I'm that kind of person. I don't get bored. So all of a sudden, this dude comes up and he's like, "Hey, how you doing today?" And I turned to him and I'm like, "Oh, not bad," because I can have a conversation even though I don't want to. And he must. I don't know what triggers this in a person. But all of a sudden he goes, "So you've been paying attention to the conventions?"
What?
Yeah. And I look at him and I go, "Are you talking about the Republican and Democratic conventions?"
I would have been like, Comic-Con?
And he's because let's just say he looks like a certain supporter of a certain person. If that's, I guess it could be considered kind of stereotypical or something, but, and anyway, after my conversation later, we'll prove it. So, and I'm like, yeah, a little bit. And he goes, "So who you voting for?" Seriously?
Well, that's inappropriate. That's inappropriate to ask a stranger.
And I'm like, well, I kind of prefer to keep that, private to myself. And he's like, okay, yeah, I can get that. I understand that. And he goes, I really don't like Hillary. I got to vote for Trump. And I said, well, okay. That's
all right.
fine. And then he goes on this blah, blah, blah. Then he goes on this big, long rant about the state of our country, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, because this is a democracy. And that's how democracies work. And I said, well, so technically, to be truthful, we're a constitutional republic and not a true democracy. A democracy is a definite 1-to-1 ratio on vote for result, and that's not how we elect people to then make those decisions. And he's like, what? Are you saying we're not a democracy? I'm saying, I'm telling you, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. He's like, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'll tell you what, and this is when I knew, and this is where the stereotype part is going to come through. He goes, you know what? And I don't appreciate your condescending attitude toward me.
Condescending?
And I was so I said, I apologize for that. I said, and it was kind of a save by the bell, because at that time one of the spots opened up. And I'm like, you know what? I apologize. I said, I didn't mean to offend you. I said, I notice you have less bottles than I do. If you'd like, you feel free to step up in front of me, and I'll let you go first because you don't have much. And he just like made some fucking noise and fucking went up there and fucking. It was a civil conversation, and all of a sudden this guy just fucking jumps down my throat. He was fishing for someone to agree with what he agrees with. That's all it was.
Yeah, that or he was looking to have like a full-blown argument out in the middle of public.
But he was just looking for someone. He just wanted his opinion to be verified. And
I just like it that he asked a rank stranger who he's voting for.
Yeah, but that's the people these days. That's what they do. What the fuck? Yeah, and I tried to be civil because I don't want to, go to jail or fucking have people staring at me because I'm yelling at this dumb fuck.
Right? Because you've taken it too far.
Right, because now it's right. All he did was start a conversation. I've crossed the line.
Right.
So I didn't want to do that, so I'm just like trying to go along, and he's like, I really don't like Hillary. I've got to vote for Trump. And I was like, no, you love it. I could tell by looking at the guy, and like I said, I know it's bad, I know it's not right, but I could tell by looking at the guy that he wasn't voting for Trump because he didn't want to vote for Hillary. He was voting for Trump because he believed every fucking word that guy says.
Right. Which is fine if that's how you want to vote.
And then when he didn't tell me I didn't appreciate the condescending attitude, well, that's solid. That solidified it. That solidified it. Because I'm pretty sure what he meant was condescending, but he didn't know the word.
I gotta be honest, you're being a little condescending right now.
Yeah, I'm a little condescerned with your tone right now also.
I don't know what condescend. What does that mean? Can you tell me what it means?
No, I don't.
That's, use it in a sentence.
But I'm just gonna keep using it until it becomes something.
Well, we got this guy to thank.
Great, thanks, guy.
So yeah, that was. See, and actually, my wife hit it on the head, Matt, with what she said to you. And you guys know, when I'm out and about, do I give off a come up and talk to me vibe?
No, not really. Not even to us. like when the three of us go out, or when we used to be out, I never got the impression that you wanted either of us to talk to you, unless you spoke to us like we were supposed to leave you alone.
I don't. There's no part of me, of my actions, my face, my anything that says, "Hey, let's chat."
Right.
So I don't know why things like this happen. Because apparently people just can't read social cues. Obviously. It's like this week I'm sitting there at work. I'm on my lunch break. I'm eating my lunch. Fucking one of the employees comes up. No lunch bag, no nothing. Still on the clock, supposed to be working. Hey, what's up, Dan? What are you doing? So I just drop my sandwich and I go, apparently an unwanted conversation. What is up? and he just looked at me. He's like, I was just going to talk. And I'm like, I'm on my lunch break, leave me alone.
You should have got up and thrown the sandwich away and been like, all right, you got my full attention now.
Right. But these things, it seems like these things happen to me way more than they should.
Well, what happens to me is I'll be eating my lunch in my office. Somebody will knock on my door, and I won't say anything because I'm eating my lunch. Then they'll go ahead and come on in, and they'll say, "Oh, sorry, did I catch you during lunch?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm eating right now." And then they'll go ahead with whatever the fuck they came in for.
Right.
Yeah, that happened to me and Ricky yesterday. She came to visit me at my work for lunch, and we're sitting there with handfuls and mouthfuls of Taco Bell. This dude knocks on the door. There's a sign on the door that says that we're on lunch until a certain time. I open the door. He goes, "Oh man, sorry, I caught you in the middle of lunch." And then he just kind of comes on in.
Yeah.
Comes on in and does his business. Like, all right, dude.
Yeah. It happens to me weekly where someone just roll on in. Like, I think it would be less offensive if you didn't acknowledge that I was eating.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you realize that it's a bad time and that I'm trying to eat my lunch. And
instead of going, oh, it appears you're in the middle of some sort of break from work. Let's talk about work.
If you just walked in and just acted like I was working and just kept talking, I think that'd be less offensive.
We were on the phone, we were talking the other day. You might have been off from work, I'm not sure. Just, but we were talking on the phone while I was at work, and this lady walked in.
There's no way I was off and you were working.
I'm just trying to save you a little bit. I had a hot dog in my hand and a big mouthful of hot dog, and she came in and she started asking questions and stared at me like I was stupid for eating a hot dog. It clearly says I'm on lunch, and never acknowledged other than to look at me like, why are you eating this hot dog in front of me? And then whenever I told her how much it is to rent the storage unit where I work, she just scoffed and walked out anyway.
Ooh.
Like, God damn, I should have just left you outside to burn in the sun.
What's that noise? Vacuum cleaner.
At 8 a.m.?
It's 9:43 here, dipshit.
All right, then. All right.
Why is it so much anger?
Yeah, man.
I don't appreciate Matt's condescending attitude.
I guess
That's true.
He's super condescending, especially at
8 o'clock in the morning.
8:43 Central Standard Time.
Right. I could do with some coffee and bacon. I'm wondering where the hell Ricky's at.
Now, you ever dip the bacon in the coffee?
No, but I guess I could.
All right.
It's not something that I'm interested in doing.
Do you like a crispy bacon or a more flaccid version?
All right, so
I'm talking non-sandwich. I'm talking just bacon.
I like it in between. Like, if I'm just going to eat some bacon, I want crispy edges and floppy middle.
What about
I
you,
want
Dan?
the sheen of floppy bacon, but I don't want it to be crispy.
What'd you say? You asked me?
Yeah.
I'm extra crispy.
So
damn.
even if you're going to just right off the plate in the mouth.
When I order, here's my typical breakfast when I go out and eat. I order 2 eggs over hard, sourdough toast with jelly.
Grape?
Great. Always great.
Damn straight.
Bacon and hash browns, both extra crispy. Then I put some Tabasco on them. I put Tabasco on everything but the toast. I put some ketchup on the hash browns. And
damn
I go,
it. Everything was good up until the ketchup.
You know what? Ketchup on hash browns is like one of the few times I can get behind ketchup on something.
I don't want ketchup on anything breakfast.
It's a potato, man. Ketchup goes on potatoes. It really, like, French fries and ketchup is actually not so bad. It's not French fries and mayonnaise, but ketchup's all right. And on hash browns, especially if you get them scattered, smothered, and covered, ketchup's pretty good.
No.
It's not bad.
So yeah, extra crispy. I want to pick it up and it stays maintains
like tree
its
bark.
form.
So I'm probably pretty closely aligned with Matt here, because what I don't like is when it turns into bacon brittle.
No.
But what I also don't like is when someone serves me raw bacon.
Yeah, I don't want bacon bits before it's been the bits. And I don't want it where the chill's been knocked off of it. I want some of the fat rendered, and I want some of the crispy.
I'll tell you, my perfect bacon. I always order extra crispy. Otherwise, I get it where you like pick it up and it's like limp, and I can't stand that. The perfect bacon is when you can bite into it. It's solid. It's like you said, like tree bark. But you bite into it, and that whole piece bites off, and nothing else crumbles. That's when bacon has been cooked perfectly. But in order
I like it when you don't have to like.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
But in order for me to get it perfect, I have to order it extra crispy and take my chances, because I know I'm not going to like the way they're going to cook it otherwise.
Right. Yeah. If I go out if I get it on a sandwich, I want it crispy. Because I just want the bacon flavor, and the crunch is going to get hidden in lettuce or onions or something like that. But if I bite just a piece of bacon, I don't want to have to I don't want it to be raw where you have to pull it away from it, where the fat and tendons are still hanging on. And I want a little bit of that crunchy bacon edge to it, But yeah, it should bite clean away from the rest of the bacon.
All this bacon talk reminds me of tabletop racers.
God damn. Because of the level with all the food on it?
No, it's because I want to talk about video games.
Okay, go ahead.
So last week, Dan talked about tabletop racers.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
then we proceeded to play the shit out of it.
I rode the roller coaster. At first it sounded not good, then it sounded like I was interested, and then I was all in at the end. So we played this little fucker.
More than once. Should be
a lot.
noted.
Yeah. Turns out it's not a great game, but it's a very fun game.
Yes, especially with others.
Yeah. So if you can get 2 or 3 buddies together, maybe even 4, it's a pretty good time. Even though there's only like 5 tracks.
Wow.
Yeah, each track has 4 permutations though, so there is something to keep you going.
Yeah, I don't count
or to
those,
keep you
so.
kind of coming back. Yeah, you're right. There's only like 12 cars. If you don't buy the DLC.
Yeah.
Something like that.
4
yeah.
in each class
Yeah.
if you don't buy the DLC.
Yeah.
Now I own all but one of those cars. That's
I
how
know.
much
Here's the thing: is
I've played the game.
you guys were like, no, doesn't even sound good, and now you fucking can't stop playing it, and you're fucking surpassing the time I spend on it.
Well, I've moved on. I've moved on from tabletop racers to a different game.
In fairness, I was like, no, yes.
Yeah, it really is really good. I'm actually playing it right now. It really is a fantastic little racer game. There's nothing to keep you going back by yourself, but it's got that Rocket League unlockables thing. Like, there's something about driving around until you can get like the car that you
Unlock the next thing.
Yeah, because the first thing you do is you go through the cars and you go, all right, well, that's the one that I want, and then by the end of it, you're trying to like upgrade it and buy all the different tire types, and you're trying to find all the coins on the tracks, and it's got the hooks aren't in the gameplay. The hooks are in the stuff that should not matter, but it's the unlockables and the upgrades that make it fun. Well, that and when you're playing with your buddies,
Blowing each other up is always fun. The ice cube.
Oh man, the laughs are nonstop.
Now, Ryan, you said you've only got one more car to open up. Have you upgraded any of the cars yet?
I've upgraded 2 of them all the way, so I still have a ways to go on upgrades, and I think I have 2 sets of wheels left to buy.
Okay.
And then past that, the only thing is to win everything, and then I would have the platinum at that point.
Right.
I haven't decided if I'm going to pursue it heavily, or if I'm just going to let it naturally happen if we keep playing, or if I'm just not going to worry about it. I think I want the platinum, though.
I'm still completely blown away that this game has a platinum.
It seems easy to get, too.
Song of the Deep doesn't.
It's totally up to the developer / publisher / Sony.
I can't wait for No Man's Sky to come out and not have a platinum.
It's going to have a platinum.
It'll have a platinum, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Song of the Deep absolutely should have had a platinum, and that's a big misstep for Insomniac.
Yeah, I'm compelled to buy that game.
It's good.
I am not.
But I think I've got to get No Man's Sky first because I feel not as compelled to play that game, but I just want to be a part of that experience when everybody else is part of it. Does that make sense? To me, part of what's making that game attractive is the
community.
Yeah, not because it's multiplayer, but just the amount of people that are excited about it coming out, and hey, this is a big deal in video gaming. Like it feels like this game's.
It's going to be like old school TV where everybody water cooler talk the next day.
I mean, I hope so.
Exactly.
I hope that's what comes out of it. I hope that I'm explaining stuff to you that I've seen, and you're like, oh, yeah, well, I saw a fucking fish with legs coming out of his head. Like, I hope that's the conversation that we get to have.
Right.
Yeah, I get the impression that No Man's Sky is going to be one of those games like Journey, right? Like, you play it, and maybe there's nothing incredible about what the game is, like, if you strip it down to its components, but when you play it as a package, it's something to talk about. It's, there was nothing incredible about Journey except for that when you put all the little pieces of it together, it told this great story. And I hope No Man's Sky does something similar. It becomes one of those games that when you look back at the PlayStation 4, you go, yeah, that's like if you have to own, 5 games, that's one of them. So I'm on the fence about buying it, but I feel like it's going to be that kind of game for a lot of people, and probably one of those landmark titles. Whether it's game of the year or not, it might be one of those games that just is well received by the gaming community. So, what'd you guys do? Did you fall asleep?
No.
I'm just thinking about No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that tabletop racing seems like a good filler until then, because that's just not the end of the coming week, but the next one for us.
Right.
It's the following Tuesday. So
I'm just wondering how many people are going to get No Man's Sky, immediately be disappointed because it didn't fit whatever expectations they put in their own head.
Yeah, you'll probably see that happen.
And
that's gonna happen.
And that game just go on blast though, harder than most.
That's a pretty big 2016 thing, though, man. Batman vs Superman had that thing happen to it.
There are very few games that have had the hype that this game has had.
Yeah, but I mean, that seems to be what's happening with things that are coming out this past year. Is a lot of hype build up to it, and then when it comes out, nobody actually people overhyped it for themselves and didn't actually enjoy what they got.
Right.
I expect The Last Guardian to be the same way.
I think The Last Guardian, I feel like, deserves it, and maybe this deserves it to a certain extent, because it's what happens when you announce a game 5 years before it comes out. People start to run wild with what that may be, and for the sake of leaving surprises out there and not showing you everything, no one really knows what the fuck this is.
Right.
Yeah. People have started planning their imaginary sequel before they've ever played the first game. Wouldn't it be cool to do this? Well, you don't even know what you can do in the first game. You might not even be able to jump,
Right. So I just think this game is going to fall victim to a lot of harsh criticism from people who don't even really get to know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else did you guys play this week?
I found, I didn't find, but I heard about this little gem called Video Ball, and I'm trying to get all of you guys to buy it because it's competitive on a Rocket League level, but it's a one button and a joystick game, so it's very simple to play, and the concept of the game is it's very easy to pick up but very hard to master, like Rocket League. And I feel like you guys would like it, but Ryan's complaint is that there are no unlockables, and there's no reason to continue beyond just being good at participation. So I kind of understand that, because that's what we were just talking about. Tabletop racers was what's compelling is unlocking stuff.
Because Video Ball looks great. I love the idea of it, but
it's absolutely fantastic.
I'll buy it if Dan buys it, because I want to make sure that we have people to play, because you very rarely ever play online.
Yeah. And it's a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-3 game, so if Dan and Howard bought it, we've got enough to play 2v2.
The problem is I don't want to get it and not have anybody to play with, and that's what I feel like would happen here. And it doesn't seem like something that'll hold my interest by myself.
Yeah, I mean, you could always buy it, and we could just play 2v2 tournaments online, too. There's world rankings.
Yeah, but you never get on, is where I'm...
Well, that's true.
The problem I'm having is I'll buy it and then never have anyone to play
and then
with.
You'll never be on.
I don't play consistently, yeah.
Right.
Might have to look into it. I'll let you know, Ryan.
It's a fantastic little game.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, I've been watching this game for a while. I think it looks like something that's fun. I'm just afraid that it won't have the staying power, and if I don't know anyone else that gets it, I'll just be... I got enough shit that I haven't played that I need to play, that buying something else to not play doesn't make sense.
For $10, it was easy to let that money go for something that, like, it's by the same guys that made Dive Kick, which I thought was a great game.
Iron Galaxies.
Yeah, so it was super easy to...
it's the new home of Adam Boyes, formerly of Sony.
Yeah, super easy to pay some money to those guys to support a game that looks really, really cool, and it's one of those, like, on the surface, it's really simple, and as you play it, it's super, super, super deep. But I guess that's about...
Played some WWE.
Yeah, I played that in Metal Gear still, but Metal Gear, I'm stuck completely. And WWE, I'm burned out because I've over-wrestled between TV and WWE Network and the video game, and then getting pumped about the new game coming out in October, I've done too much WWE. So it's time for a little break there.
But you, Ryan, anything new?
No, just kept it pretty simple. Played a lot of tabletop. The same things I always play.
TTR and Rocket League.
Yeah, I played a little more Song of the Deep. I played some Ori. Nothing new, but I danced around all the systems. I actually played some Yoshi on the Wii U, and I've been all over.
That's pretty cool.
Just a regular for me too. Still pumping through Sleeping Dogs, taking my time with it this time, because I feel like last time I kind of rushed through it to get to the end because it was so compelling. So now I'm just taking my time and just kind of taking everything in and doing some of the favors, doing some of the different missions, things like that. Tabletop racers and Rocket League.
I think there's something to the way that you're playing Sleeping Dogs. It's how I played Uncharted, and I remember, and I don't think it's because it's just so recent, but I vividly remember Uncharted 4, where I can't remember a single fucking thing about 1, 2, and 3.
Because you're going through them, and that's how I am. There's things happening in Sleeping Dogs.
I tore through them,
and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't remember any of this, and I know I finished this fucking game. So really taking my time with it, I think is. And I'm actually going over and I'm reading through the files this time and all that kind of stuff.
See, I did all that stuff too, and I couldn't tell you a single thing that happens in there except for that I can grapple hook to the car in front of me and fight Cox. That's the only thing I remember about that game, and I fucking love that game. But the problem is that it's all I did for a week and a half.
Right.
And it's just not enough of a. I just think there's something to really milking a game and taking your time.
And that's what I'm doing, because I've had it for 2 weeks now,
making it a little more of an experience than.
And I'm not even halfway through it. So, I
also think you can go so slow though that you lose interest too.
Yeah, it's a fine line.
Yeah,
and you got to be careful, because the problem and this is a fine line that developers have to walk with sandbox games, and this is where I usually run into trouble. Is they give you so much filler to do to level your character up. So much of the different side missions, which are fun, don't get me wrong. But the meat of any game, for me, is the story and the characters. And I hate when they either stretch that out for no reason, or they just make that part of it too short and fill in with everything else. That causes me to lose interest, too. And so far, Sleeping Dogs isn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Fallout. You can actually go, if you've gone through just the story of Fallout, you could probably complete it in about 7 hours.
Yeah, Fallout 4 is one of the weakest games I've ever played as far as story goes.
What do you do? Are you getting No Man's Sky, Dan?
My plan is to. As you know, we sold the house, so we're kind of on a. I have spending rules I have to follow now because we're trying to save for a new house. So my plan is to, yes. But that could change.
Are you going to try to be done with Sleeping Dogs before that, then?
I don't know. What's probably going to end up happening is I'm going to, and this kind of sucks, but because I've been taking my time with it, what I'll probably do is I'll probably end up having to gun through the story.
Right.
To get to the end. Because I want to play the DLC, too. So... I also have the free, Hearthstone that I downloaded that I haven't even touched yet. So, lots of gaming in my future.
Hopefully, lots of gaming in just the future in general.
Yes.
You ready to talk some news?
We got any good stories this week?
Yeah, why not?
I got a few things here.
There's a few things.
So it looks like maybe some of the long-running rumors about the NX were kind of confirmed through Eurogamer. They didn't cite their sources. They say they have several. So you do what you want with this. We're not going to sit here and tell you this is fact. But it looks like a lot of the things that people have hinted at for a long time are kind of. They say they have sources that confirm this.
Yep.
The NX is portable. A lot of us talked about that. That's what we thought it would be, but according to them, the brain is not in the base unit at home. The brain is actually in the portable portion of the NX. So it seems it's a portable first.
Yes.
And a home console second, whereas I thought it would be a home console first and portable second.
And instead it's the other way around.
Right.
I thought it would be a portable completely.
Oh, you didn't think it would have a home component at all?
No, I did. I thought that with the success of like Miitomo and kind of how Pokemon Go went, that they would be more interested in really just kind of cornering the mobile market, considering that Sony has all but given up on it with the Vita.
Right.
So I thought they really kind of had found their space there, but I guess not.
So what's different about this is that the screen itself, which looks like a tablet, is actually flanked by like a controller on each side.
They actually attach and detach.
Right. So it looks like it has a kickstand. You could just take the screen, set it up, and we could play on the go somewhere with each other.
Yep.
Then when you return home, it'll have some sort of base unit, which then gives the tablet the ability to do HDMI out straight to your TV and let you play on a big screen. They also go on to say that the NX will use cartridges, and I think a lot of that is due to the portable...
The portability of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to take something somewhere, you can't be running disc. It's not a Walkman. You know, you're going to be able to train the bus. You got to be able to throw it in there.
That would be a Discman. A Walkman was cassette tapes.
Didn't they call their...
No, it was
Didn't they have
disc.
a Walkman disc?
I don't know.
Check that, Matt.
I don't know.
Check that, Matt, while we talk.
But in my head,
Okay.
a Walkman was the cassette tapes, and the Discman was the one that did the CDs.
I had them both.
Dude, I lived on my Walkman.
I had a big fat ass CD player. It's fucking thick. I love that thing. So while he's fact checking, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this NES NX.
NX.
It looks like a high quality tablet in this scenario. It looks like it would have to be in order to deliver any sort of power that people would care about. Now, I know Nintendo has said in the past, like, we don't care about graphics, we don't care about those things, because we're going to make fun games, our gameplay is our focus. But it still has to look, it can't look worse than the Wii U.
Right.
So it's going to have to be a pretty beefy tablet. Then I start to worry about price, because a good tablet is, what, $500-$600?
Right.
So a good tablet, you know, the base, there's probably not much money involved in that, being able to take it to your TV. The controllers, I don't know, I don't know what kind of tech is in those, but, going from something that I thought would cost $200, $250 to something that might cost $400, $500, like, that'll turn a lot of the people who were trying to decide on this off, I think.
I think it's going to depend on the size of the tablet, too, because, you can get, like, a Kindle Fire for $99.
Right.
Yeah, but does the screen need to be much bigger than 5 to 7 inches?
I think
like,
7
it really
inches
doesn't need to be
is the
huge.
right mark.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like a 10 to 12 inch screen.
Because you're going to put a controller on each side of that.
That's what they say.
But then again, it's got to be big enough for two people to look at and play a game on.
Two people to see, yeah.
All right, so here is the official my research as far as it's ever going to go on the Walkman versus Discman.
Okay.
Walkman is the registered trademark for Sony-based portable disc players. The first one was called the Discman, and then all of them are under the Walkman brand.
Okay.
Everybody else's was called a portable compact disc player. Also interesting to note, they sell for $350 on Amazon right now.
Holy shit.
I'm going to award a half a point to each of us.
That's fair. Now my question is, so what I'm guessing is that Walkman covers their entire portable music
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because here's what I want to think that I didn't have the first Discman, so mine probably just said Walkman on it.
Yeah.
And I think also my mini disc might have said Walkman on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Walkman was the brand that had
Right.
that W with the balloons on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
probably what happened. You probably had the first one, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Discman is only given to the very first portable CD player, the D5 and the D50.
Okay. I had one of those then because I know it said Discman. on
Like
the
that
front.
D5.
Yeah, it's the big silver one. It says Discman
Yep.
across the face of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every
About
time you take a
1,000
step,
buttons.
it jumps because it was like the first one of its kind. So
You
every
made
time
money
you take
back
a
then?
step, it skips.
Silver
I mean,
spoon.
you gotta
how'd
work
get,
out,
how'd you
dude.
get that first
No.
one?
Why did I?
I said, how'd you get that first one?
Christmas present, I believe.
Golly, I had to
They
wait.
had a black version of it, the D50, that I think I had one of these. But it was under the Walkman brand, but like it looks like the first generation of them.
Yeah, no, my dad got it for me because my dad is, even my dad's not a big spender and he's not big on technology. He loves music like I did, or like I do, so
Yeah.
he got it for me because compact disc players were cool at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Still
If you
cool.
search Discman, it looks like there's all kinds of shit with it branded across the front of it. Like there's all kinds of Sony CD players that came out first with the Discman logo, and then they and then they put it all under the Walkman
because
thing.
when they first brought them out, they probably still had the cassette players in play.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So then, but once CDs took off and cassettes went by the wayside and they quit production on that, they probably just moved that Walkman name over to the Discman.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this NX?
For me,
Sure, one at a time.
was it okay? Didn't Nvidia? Wasn't there like the Nvidia Shield that came out that had the two like Wii nunchucks on the side of a screen that were held out by like a couple of toothpicks? Didn't somebody try to release that, or somebody tried to come out with something like that? So that's probably the closest thing that I can think that this would equate to. I don't with the detachable controllers. I think it opens up some options. Clearly, they want you to be able to like take your tablet with two controllers out, pop it down on the kickstand, and play multiplayer with people while you're out on the go. You know, you don't necessarily like you have a home style console that can go anywhere. But what I don't see happening is I don't see a tablet being able to graphically power games that have like I don't see staying power in the video games that are going to come out on that. I don't see you like you're going to get Legend of Zelda on it, sure. Like you pop a cartridge in, but what I don't see is like. I don't know, let's say Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, right? Or Fallout 5 comes out in the generation that the NX is available. I don't see those games coming out on the NX still. And Nintendo, I guess what I need to see out of the NX is that Nintendo recognizes, accepts, and promotes that they no longer compete in the space where they want Bethesda to put a game out, where they want 2K to put a game on there. They don't expect Rockstar to put a game on it. It's going to be essentially Nintendo and Nintendo second-party studios only. Like that's.
See, I don't think so because I don't think the Wii was able to run those games, and people fucking lined up to put their garbage on the Wii.
Yeah, but nobody lined up to like buy the games.
Oh yeah,
like
people bought those shit games.
Yeah, people's grandparents and parents and people who wanted it in the basement for parties and stuff like that. Those people bought those games, but like gamers, like stuff that makes a console last.
I don't
like the
think
people
Nintendo
who are going to make a
cares
console
who's buying
last.
it, though. I think you're right. I think instead of saying we can't compete, we don't want those games, I think they're saying buy us also and put us beside your PS4 or beside your
Exactly.
Xbox One.
The problem with that
But they have to come out and say, hey, we recognize that this is our space. Like, we're not trying to come out here and capture a contract from Rockstar and 2K. And they have to come out and say, like, hey, we're the console that when you can't, like, when you leave the house and you can't play your PS4, you're going to play your NX.
The thing is, if they're going to try to brand themselves as, like, your backup and, have us as well because we do something different, they can't come in at $400 or $500.
Oh, $199 tops. This console can't come in at any higher than $199.
I think ideally $200. I think $250 is probably a little more realistic. $300 might be the mark.
If it comes in at $300, it will sail right down the toilet.
I think something else I wouldn't be too surprised if you see with it is if its capabilities, if a lot of the power is maybe in that base, and it is going to have different capabilities on the TV than it is portably.
That was me and Ryan were kind of spitballing about this the other day. that was something that I had said. When you plug it up to the TV, it's a full-blown gaming console. Like, you can put a high-end game in it. But when you take it out portable, you have, like, just the virtual arcade for, like, N64 and earlier. You have just, like, mobile-style games like Miitomo. When you take it and when you attach the screen back to the base is kind of like... That's where the like a secondary GPU is. Yeah, exactly. Kind of like with PlayStation VR, right? It has that extra GPU in a box sitting there. The NX, you take it home, when you plug it up, it recognizes that GPU, and then you can then you get a more robust console out of it.
Like maybe this base has the processing power more equivalent to the PS4 or the Xbox One, and I'm not saying it's going to. This is all just throwing it out there.
Right, and, but say that new Legend of Zelda game.
But then just the tablet itself is kind of more like has the processing power of the 3DS or the 2DS or something like that.
Like any large game they release, like Legend of Zelda, whatever the hell the subtitle on it is, but that's only playable in its full form when you attach it to the TV. But when you disconnect it, maybe there's like a way to earn money, like a mini game, or there's like you can take it with you, but you're not playing the full game at that point until you go back home and attach it.
Right. It's like the units you should put in the Dreamcast cards for certain games.
Yes.
Or in the Dreamcast cartridges. I can't remember what it was called. The
VMU.
Yeah, but they were like VMUs. But they were like the little Tamagotchi style games that when you plugged it back up, you had something else to go with. Yeah,
which obviously of a higher caliber and a better quality, but still that same concept.
Yeah, I mean, that's to me that's kind of a cop out on what the console's supposed to be. But if
at
they
the same time, if they do it that way, it covers both. It covers both their console and it covers their 3DS.
Their
upgrade.
handhelds, right? They don't have to put out handhelds again for 5 years. They have the NX, and it can feed both cartridges and home style games, home console games.
Exactly.
So. There's still so much in the dark about the NX. There's so many what ifs about how it's going to operate. What I don't see happening ever is, and I don't see I don't see me and you buying one unless it comes out and does something that we can't do somewhere else, right? I see Ryan. I know you're going to buy this because you buy everything. But like for me and Dan especially, like I don't see this being a console that we salivate over until it does something that competes with the other two, or something that they absolutely cannot do that is more interesting than it's a tablet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't want it to be what you guys just talked about. I want it to be the same whether it's plugged in at home or if it's on the go.
I want it to be a PS4 that you pack around.
And I mean, I understand that's going to cut down a little bit on what they can do, but I don't want it to be different when I'm at home. I don't want a giant Dreamcast memory card. I want the full fucking game, no different if I'm playing on my TV or if I'm on the train. That's what I want. Also, why the fuck am I on a train? So there's that.
Because you're in New York now.
I guess.
You're in the city.
I've never found myself on a train. So
I get what you mean. And you don't take public transportation.
I thought you were on a train in Colorado.
It was a light rail, but I mean, how often am I in Colorado?
Okay.
Colorado.
That's how Dan said it. I just want to fit in.
Colorado.
That's how I normally say it, but you put an A on the end of it, so I said, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, I need some like staple games to come out that would draw me to the NX also. Like I need a Mario that comes out that's not a gimmick Mario. Like I need something on the caliber of Super Mario 3. I need a Metroid game to come out that is at its very least on the same level as Metroid Prime. I need certain games to come out on that console that make me want to play Nintendo again, but I also want third-party games to come out on the NX that I don't look at it and go, yeah, but it looks better on PS4, or like, yeah, but the gameplay is different on PS4, and that's where I want to play it, right? I want games like, I don't know, pick your third-party title that's huge that should come out on all of them, right? let's say that they do a Metal Gear 6 and they release it cross-platform again, right? If that comes out on the NX, it should be the same game on the NX that it is on the Xbox One that it is on the PS4.
My argument is that it shouldn't come out on the NX at all.
Right, but what they shouldn't do is what they did with the Wii, which is to make a toned-down, shitty version of Call of Duty or a toned-down, shitty version of this game or that game. Like Nintendo needs to make it very clear, like, we're separate from the other two, and we're separate from the other two in our games. We're not going to have the same games that they have, so if you want to play these games, you have to come over here. And I don't think that they need to stretch developers to... I don't think they need to go to a developer and say, hey, you're putting Call of Duty out over there, Battlefield over there. We need Battlefield and Call of Duty on the NX. And the developer goes, yeah, but we can't put the same game out. And they go, cool, put out Battlefield NX and Call of Duty NX. Like, as soon as you do that, you've cheapened the console. And that was a big misstep that they did with the Wii U and with the Wii was, now all of a sudden there's a U version and there's the Wii version was different. It either has to be the exact same game or it can't come out. And things like what the hell is that game 101?
Wonderful 101.
Like something like Wonderful 101, right? Or Splatoon, like those two games, those need to be the games that they promote so hard that you're like, I have to go get an NX. Like, I can't miss that game. They have to make those reasons to go buy an NX and stop trying to, I guess, stop trying to sell their console the same way that the Xbox and the PlayStation have successfully sold theirs.
Yeah, I don't think that they do. I think the media does. I think they latch on to things like the Call of Duties that are coming out for the Wii.
Yeah, I mean, I think GameStop's guilty of that, but I think that Nintendo...
I don't think Nintendo really cares, but Activision puts money behind it. Or, like you said, the retailers, like, I don't think Nintendo makes that a focus. Nintendo's focus is only on their shit.
Yeah.
But I think because this is a different beast, I don't think you'll see them try to put those games on here. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I just thought this was interesting to really kind of get an idea of what this might be. And Eurogamer are usually pretty accurate whenever they report something. I know they don't list their sources, which is kind of a douchey move. But I tend to believe the things that they write.
They usually do pretty good.
Right. So we'll see probably sooner rather than later. Now, also, I want to stay with Nintendo here.
Okay.
So Kotaku has a super interesting article / study up. It's called "The Wii U Has No Games." A study. You should go and you should definitely read the whole thing. I'm gonna pick it apart. Basically, what they did was look at the number of first-party games released and the number of third-party games released, or second and third-party games released on each Nintendo console. So the NES had 72, and these are only released in the U.S. games. All of these. So the NES had 72 first-party games and 590 third-party games. The Super Nintendo had 52 first-party games and 667 third-party games. The N64, this is the one I found shocking, had 53 first-parties and 244 third-parties. That seems really low.
Yeah.
I feel like, but of course you've got PS1 popping up right now, and things are starting to get a little crowded in that space.
Right.
You still have, Sega trying to do their thing. I don't know. To me, I felt like there were more games coming out for N64 than that. So the GameCube had 48 first party and 504 for third party. Now, the GameCube was the system that kind of got most of those ports. It had the Resident Evils. Most games that came out for GameCube also.
Resident Evil, Splinter Cells.
Yeah.
Metal Gear.
It got pretty much everything. So that makes sense. The Wii had 55 first parties and 1,206 third parties.
Yeah,
that's the shovelware.
Yeah, but
that's
keep
what I'm
in mind
talking
that
about.
they were shit.
It doesn't matter though. Like people
bought those games. You're right.
Even though it's shit to use, someone still walked in and bought redneck backyard games for the Wii.
Those games were available, so people bought them. Yes,
right.
Like I get that it doesn't matter, but it does matter. Like it does matter because that number is skewed because of of the volume of games that came out. That just so I guess to equate this, if the Wii U had come out and there had been the same amount of games, the console would have been equally as successful as the Wii, just based on how much was available. If you flood the market, it will inherently do better, but just because statistically it has to.
But that's what Nintendo has to do. They have to make a system that people get. See, the problem, or the reason all these games exist, is because everyone bought a fucking Wii.
Right.
If you were a developer, you wanted your game on Wii because everyone had one.
Right, but go back and look at arguably the most successful Nintendo console of all time. In the era of the Nintendo, I would say the Super Nintendo is probably the pinnacle of Nintendo. Right, that is half the games. Right, like nowhere near the same amount of games that the Wii had, but that is a more successful console in my mind. Right.
Well, yeah, but I think you didn't have nearly as many people developing either.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not based on sales. It's not based on how many games are out there. It's based on the fact that of those games that came out first party.
Back
well,
then,
here's the thing too, Matt. Now, yes, you're remembering it's super successful, but is that mostly because of your fun with it and the time you spent with it, or is that based on the actual numbers and taking everything into account?
Yeah, I guess I think that the SNES parallels most closely to the Wii because the Super Nintendo had a lot of shovelware on it. There was a lot of shit. But there are a lot of staying franchises that came over from the NES to the SNES and that continued. And with the number of shit games being lower, I think the quality of games that you had in that number of games was higher. Does that make sense? Like, not every game was a Mario, but not every game was Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares either.
So you had a better number of run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road games.
Right. In the Super Nintendo games, you probably like that versus the Wii, you probably have the same amount of successful hit games, right? But your middle of the road is probably a larger number of mid-grade successes on the Super Nintendo. And then that means that your number of shit titles is less versus the Wii U, where the majority of that number that we're looking at is garbage titles. Right, they're just there to fill space.
So what you're saying is the more shovel. I understand what you're saying. The more shovelware that's available, the more people you have to buy those, and then be disenfranchised because of that purchase.
Right. Inherently, the console will outsell everything else just because of the volume. But and that's why the Wii U suffered so hard, exactly what you just said, because people bought all that shovelware because it was there to buy, but then they're so disenfranchised, they're so disappointed in what Nintendo has done that the Wii U was a failure.
You see, I take a different stance on that. I don't think that's why the Wii U was a failure. I think the Wii U was a failure because of the marketing, the name. The people couldn't tell the difference. They thought they already had that similar thing. I don't think it was enough of a leap forward. I think if it had come out and been something different, I think it would have sold better. I think the shovelware would have showed up and people would have all had Wii U's. I don't think the shovelware was a misstep because people still bought and liked those games even though they were shit. I know people who play some of the worst sounding crap I've ever heard of and enjoyed it on their Wii. And not to mention it's like $20 for a game. So,
no Alpha Protocol, though.
Yeah, I mean, how much are you expecting to get out of a $20 game? You know, if you can get drunk and gather 4 of your friends around and still have fun, that's all that matters. So I don't think it was the shovelware that hurt the Wii. I think it was the fact
marketing
that the
and
Wii
PR that hurt the Wii U.
It came out early. It was not a full step forward. It was overwhelmingly underpowered. If you looked at its competitions, and I think it was still trying to be a part of that space. And I think the messaging is weird. The name makes no sense at all. You know, we already had the Wii, now we have the Wii U. Is it the same thing? Is it an add-on? How much different is it? It uses the old controllers. I just think the entire marketing strategy was weird. It didn't feel like anything new. It should have been billed as a upgrade. It should have been billed as the Wii 2.5.
Yeah.
I think they'd be in a different space if they'd treated it like a Scorpio or like a PS 4.5 or a Neo.
Now, here's something that this report doesn't really say, but just some quick math. So I'm going on the original NES here. Of all of the games released on the original NES stateside, 89% were third-party titles. For the Wii, that number is 95% were third-party titles. So there's only a 6% difference in the amount of third-party titles that came out between those two consoles.
I mean, I think Nintendo has been pretty consistent. You know, you got, for first party, you got 72, 52, 53, 48, 55. I mean, they've been pretty consistent all the way through. Before we talk anymore, let me tell you the Wii U numbers, because it's really the whole build-up was to talk about the Wii U.
Yeah.
So the Wii U has 39 first-party games, which is the lowest of anything on this list. And then it has 118 third-party titles released in the U.S.
Which, again, is the lowest on the list.
It is. Now, digital
It's also the lowest percentage of third-party titles.
Digital is also something different right now. This is not track digital. It's only actual retail, physical releases. So obviously, this number would be different if you counted digital sales and digital titles released. But strictly just based off of things, it's not enough. 118 is not enough.
No.
It's 75% of the games basically that came out on the Wii U. That's third party. So that's 20% down from the Wii. So I guess here's a different angle. Do you think that people who follow Nintendo expect shovelware? Do you think that maybe the Wii U didn't succeed because there wasn't enough shovelware?
I think the thing about the broad statement of shovelware is that if a lot of games are released, some are going to be bad, but some are going to be really good. There are going to be some very pleasant surprises and all that.
And some are going to be bad and bought the hell up anyway.
So if you release 1,000 games, even if you consider them shovelware, some of those are going to be pretty good. And I don't think there are enough pretty good games. I mean, there is. If you went and bought a Wii U right now, I'd give you 10 to 15 titles that you should buy today, and I firmly believe that you would love each and every one of them. The problem is if you ask me for 15 more.
Yeah. And I would like to see the percentage of like third-party titles that were, like that had a Metacritic score of like 50% or above for all of the Nintendo consoles, and see like, of 118 Wii U third-party titles, are 80 of them at a 50% or above rating, or is it like 2 of them are at a 50% or above rating?
I would guess that the Wii U actually probably has the games probably have a better score than the Wii games, which I think that's an indication that people don't necessarily want critically highly reviewed games. They just want something that looks fun to them.
Yeah.
And if that means, taking the Wii controller and pretending it's a rubber band gun and shooting, beer cans off of a porch, like if that's the game they want, they're going to buy it. Doesn't matter what the score is. Doesn't matter if Metacritic gave it a 12. Like, they're going to buy it.
Yeah.
So I think this is just interesting. Like, a console shouldn't come out in this day where I could feel like I could own all those. I could realistically buy all 118 games.
Right.
And that's crazy. It's crazy
So those are the major headlines then.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. 118 games, third party.
That's not many at all.
That's mind blowing.
Well, yeah, like that means that stateside that Wii U only has 157 games available.
Right.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's disc based.
So
that's a very attainable number, but it's also like I would think that.
And the problem is not even the shovelware problem, where some of those aren't any good.
Well, yeah. What you don't have with 157 games is you don't have enough games on the market for there to be failures at that point.
You
right?
have room for error. Right.
You have to have like 90 games that are on fucking point, 10 out of 10s that people have to buy, or they don't buy your console. And I think it's probably more realistic to say across all 5 Nintendo consoles that we're looking at here, or all 6 Nintendo consoles that we're looking at here, that there's probably about, I don't know, probably 30 games on each, for each console. There's probably 30 that if we sat down and made a list for each console, there's 30 must-own titles on each of those. And on the Wii U, that hurts because you've only got 157 to pull from.
Right.
So
I agree. So we got to move on, and we're running a little long, so I'm kind of going to power through these quickies.
That's what I figured would happen.
Let's go, brah.
So Sony revealed that the PlayStation is incredibly successful, especially when it comes to their overall Sony as a company. The PlayStation brand, which is their game and network services division, accounted for 78% of their profit.
Jesus
Woo!
Christ.
So if you think Sony doesn't care about PlayStation, you're dead fucking wrong, because they probably don't exist without it.
Right.
I don't think Sony I think Sony doesn't care about everything else.
Right.
And that may be true, but I hear people all the time saying, like, yeah, they do PlayStation, but they're in TVs and they make movies, and okay, their fucking money is in games.
Yeah,
Yep.
it really is.
So if you think they don't care when people are, when the PlayStation Network goes down, you're dead fucking wrong.
Right, you're fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So Sony has announced that the PlayStation VR headset requires about 60 square feet of space and is designed to be used while seated. So about the smallest area you're going to be able to use is a 10 by 6 space, pretty much.
I think that's reasonable, though.
Nah, I don't think that's bad.
Yeah, I'll disagree with that. I used it in about a 5 by 5 space and had the time of my life
I think they're
in
meaning
it.
to
So.
use it viably the way they would prefer for it to be used, to allow you to actually do the moving and not just turn your head.
Well, I think they're saying about every game that comes out. If you can get 60 square foot for it, then you can play everything that's going to come out for it.
Yeah, but I mean, a swivel chair in 25 square feet of space, as long as you don't hit anything when you spin, you should be fine. Like if you're confined to a chair, right, all you need is the space for the chair.
This to me is good news, because
Yes.
my living room, I had trouble using the Kinect in sometimes.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the distance from the TV. I think you do have to be about 6 feet from the camera for it to read like all of the things that you have. You can't sit right up against it.
So that leaves you 4 feet in the back.
Yeah, thereabouts. But I mean, you really honestly only need to be able to swivel a chair around, because you really can't move around too much in it. But anyway,
And they also think that you should try it before purchasing it, because everybody acclimates to VR differently.
agreed. Yeah, because you're gonna get sick in there.
I'm not going to get sick.
I don't know, man.
You're going to get sick.
I was fine, but I did have a headache for the rest of the day, and it is very unpleasant, and I hope that goes away. But I'm 100% going to get one. I think I'm convinced at this point.
The Metal Gear Solid franchise has now sold 49 million units.
Yay,
So
Metal Gear.
Konami shared that during an earnings report. Now, what they didn't share is what the fuck Metal Gear Solid 5 Definitive X is, which is a listing that popped up on Amazon and shortly after was deleted. So a lot of people wondering what that might be.
Probably nothing.
49 million units, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a long-running franchise. It's been running since
It's not
the
Mario
80s,
Kart numbers,
so.
but it's pretty. That franchise is still very much alive and well.
Yep.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah. For now.
Talked about. Go ahead.
No Man's Sky fan purchased a leaked copy of the game and then decided to post videos of it. He bought it on eBay. The rumored number is $1,250 for the chance to play it early. It's been removed, so we don't know that. And then, just to be a whole bag of dicks, he decided to post videos on Dailymotion. And he said he would continue to do so. Sean Murray said, don't watch it if you really want to enjoy the game. And the guy's been getting a shit ton of fucking mail and comments. He's pulled everything because it's been so bad.
He changed his song. He changed his song a little bit.
Yeah, he changed his tune.
He went from "I paid for it, I'll be a bag of dicks if I want it" to "Look, I just won't post anything if everybody will just leave me alone."
Right.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize how passionate everybody was. Plus, I kind of feel bad about Sean Murray because he seems like a nice dude.
Right.
Yeah. So what I did before the show was skimmed through one of the 20-minute videos that he posted. I didn't see anything that I had So if the universe is as expansive as Sean Murray claims that it is, right, in this game, that you'll never see the same planet twice, it really doesn't matter what you see in this guy's video because you're never going to see this fucking planet. But here's the thing. If Sean Murray has shown you one planet and this guy shows you another, you haven't seen any difference in gameplay. There's nothing that this guy showed that's any different. You see some animals, you see some terrain, you see his ship, and you hear some music. You haven't seen anything. I think that Sean Murray's developer videos that he's shown have been much more revealing, showing science stations and starports and space travel. This guy's stuff is pretty like tame compared to what the developers have already released. So to me, this is a lot of hoopla for fucking nothing.
Well, I think the whole point is that no one knows what this game is going to be. It has not been released yet, so it still belongs to Hello Games, and Hello Games is still the owner of that. They do not want to allow someone else to take control of any aspect of their game, which I think is fair. And maybe it doesn't spoil a whole lot or anything like that. At the end of the day, it's their intellectual property. They have set up they've put a whole bunch of minds together and come up with a way and a reason to show you what they've decided to show you.
Does it scare you to think that maybe the game is not as randomized and expansive as they claim it is if this guy's videos could spoil something for all of us?
No, but we don't know that Sean Murray knew exactly what this kid was and wasn't going to show, so that might just been a blanket statement.
I just think part of what is going to make No Man's Sky special is the first time you do land on the planet.
Yeah,
now, I've watched very little about this game. So for me, I don't know what to expect. And when I first land, I'm probably going to have an experience that I won't have again. And if I watch someone else do that, I could see how that could ruin that for me.
Yeah, but Sean Murray has shown that several times. Right, but what I'm saying is Sean Murray can't get on his high horse about, hey, don't ruin this game for everybody else.
Actually, he can because it's his. He can do whatever he wants.
Right, but he's already done that, right? He can't come out and say, hey, don't show people the first time you've landed what it's like when you land on a planet, when he's had like 10 videos to come out already with him landing on different planets. Like, he already ruined that experience for some people.
Yeah, I think you're missing the point, though.
Yeah, it's his and he can say what he wants to. I get what you're saying, but it's hypocritical and he's wrong for making that statement. Like, let's be very clear that it's insanely hypocritical. Just because you own it doesn't mean that you get to dictate everything about it, right? As soon as you release it to the public, it's, for all intents and purposes, the public, it kind of owns it, right? So if he shows what it's like to do something for the first time and then somebody else does the same thing, he can't jump down their shit for doing what he already did. Right, that's very hypocritical.
Not once it's released. Before it's released, sure.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he showed it before it's released or if I showed it before it's released. It was still shown, and at least this guy showed it after Sean Murray showed it to the public the first time.
I disagree, but I disagree with you. But
yeah, I mean, I don't. That's like people saying, well, until you have kids, you can't comment on having kids, or until you've been in this situation, you can't comment on this situation. It's hypocritical, and it doesn't make any sense. If he showed something and somebody else showed something 2 months later, he should say, hey, man, that's not cool. You shouldn't be releasing footage of my game that's not finished.
If it's the same thing.
Like, that's 100%. Like,
if it's the same footage. And that's the thing. If this would have been the exact same footage that Sean Murray released, sure.
It doesn't matter if it's the same footage because his claim
it's a different gameplay.
His claim to the video game is that you will never see the same thing that somebody else sees, right? You and I could play that game from the day it comes out to the day we die, every minute of our lives, and we will never see the same things. That's the claim of that video game, right?
I don't think so. I think the claim is that you could play that game forever and never see. I don't think that you won't.
Right.
But the possibility is minute, right? They said that you could explore that game every day, and you only see, 1 to 10% of the known universe in that video game. So part of the game is the water cooler talk that you were talking about. Part of it is that we will never see what this guy already saw. So who cares if he shows it to us, right? If Sean Murray shows us a planet that's on the other side of the galaxy that nobody will ever see, it's the same thing as this guy showing us a planet that nobody will ever see. Sean Murray has every right to say, hey, man, that game's not out. You shouldn't show that to the public. What he doesn't have the right to say is, hey, don't show them that gameplay that they may never see because I already showed them this gameplay they may never see.
Yeah, I think this guy's a bag of dicks.
Uh-huh.
2 possibilities and endless possibilities. Like, no, you don't get to say that. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think it's shitty to show anybody anything. But if you're out there watching videos, then you run that risk.
No, I understand. It's a choice for people to click on that video and watch it.
Yeah, I think it's absurd that the guy released it early. I think that's stupid, and it should 100% be taken down. But
you guys remember 38 Studios?
No.
Yeah.
Should I?
Kingdoms of Amalur.
Yeah, Kingdoms of Amalur.
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 Does anybody know how to say it?
Amalur. Kingdoms of Amalur.
Amalur.
Amalur. That was, what's his name? Kurt
Schilling.
Kurt Schilling.
38 Studios famously went out of business in 2012 after receiving a $75 million loan to move to Rhode Island. This was a big story back in the day. Because he took all the money from the state, then immediately made this game and closed up shop.
Yep.
The problem is that the loan was backed by Rhode Island taxpayers. So those people were pretty fucking pissed because their money was gone. Obviously, a defunct company not going to pay back a $75 million loan.
What was the name of that? Like Big Ass Games or something?
38 Studios.
No, there was but then there was a the publisher on it.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway,
there's something like that. I think you're right, Matt. Something along those lines.
So the federal government had previously concluded during their investigation that they hadn't actually violated any federal statutes.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't really do anything wrong. But Rhode Island continued their investigation all the way up until late last week. This whole time they've still been investigating. So they're pissed about the money they lost, so they threw more money at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like any reasonable place, that's what you do. When you're pissed about losing money, you lose a lot more money.
And then it turns out you don't get any of it back.
Yeah, they didn't do anything wrong. Now, I do like the comment that they made. State Police Steve O'Donnell. Life-altering event that should never been taken lightly or granted, suggested it shouldn't be filed simply because it's a bad deal.
Right.
Like, it was just a bad deal.
Yeah.
The loan should have never been given. It should have never went through like that. They should have done their homework. I mean, the problem is this studio was like the first game they ever made, and they employed like 400 people.
Yep.
Like, they went EA Rockstar big on their very first game, and no one bought it. No one was excited about it.
I did. It was good.
It wasn't a terrible game, yeah. It just wasn't what they initially promised.
A lot of people really enjoyed it. But I think it's crazy that they've spent the last 4 years investigating something about lost money. Like,
I'm not.
How many more millions did you just lose?
I don't know. Have you ever heard anything about any government ever? This is the kind of shit they do.
It just doesn't make good sense. That if I was a taxpayer, I would be more livid about this. Like, you already made one bad deal, let's not make the same mistake again.
Yeah.
But Kurt Schilling off the hook, minus the fact that he ruined a lot of people's lives.
Can we be clear? It's not Kurt Schilling.
It's Kurt Schilling.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it really Kurt Schilling?
Yeah.
Yes.
God damn! I didn't think it was the real Kurt Schilling.
He started the studio.
Started the studio when he got out of baseball.
Yeah.
God damn! That makes it even better.
Yeah. He loves video games.
He's a huge gamer.
Yeah. Big gamer.
Apparently not much of an entrepreneur.
I don't know. I mean, he started a company. He made a game. It was a well-received game.
Yeah, he pulled together a bad deal and pulled in $75 million, I guess.
Some would say he burned too bright.
Didn't Todd McFarlane or somebody work on that game too? They had a lot of big names coming in on that game.
Kurt Schilling's the only name you need to know.
I don't know.
All right, it's time to move on to my favorite segment, and this is my favorite week of the segment because it's my turn.
Great.
Gone but not forgotten. Where we reach back our gaming past, we dust off an old gem.
How's it your turn?
Because I wrote it down as my turn to have a game.
You did Seaman 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and then you went, and then he went.
Yeah, hey, Todd McFarlane worked on Kingdoms of Amalur.
Go. The last one I did was Darksiders. Or not Darksiders.
You never did Darksiders.
Not Darksiders. The vampire one.
Darkstalkers.
Yes.
Darkstalkers.
That was a bad choice, so nobody played that.
I think it's supposed to be my turn.
So listen.
I played it, and it's gone. It's my Gone But Not Forgotten.
You're ruining the segment.
Whatever fucking game I want to.
You're ruining the segment by being a child.
Wow.
Go ahead.
You're being a child. You're ruining the segment. Feels like a cry out for attention.
Suck dick.
Just let Ryan go.
Anyways, we dust off an old classic for you. Maybe if somebody else pulled the fucking news, they could go.
Wow.
So we dust off a gem for you.
You can do it every fucking week then.
I should do it every week because that's how many gems I've played.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. That's how many gems. Yep. No shit boxes in year past.
But I think that everybody's going to agree with this one as a Gone But Not Forgotten title. So, we're talking NES here.
Okay.
A Konami classic.
I like where you're going.
Okay. Jackal.
Nah. I think I know this game.
You do.
I kind of remember it.
If you watch a video, you're going to immediately remember it.
Oh, yeah. I know this game.
Top down. You're in a Jeep.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're cruising. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
NES. I played this a ton, actually, with my stepdad.
And your second player was in a helicopter, right?
Yep.
No. So the second player also in a Jeep.
The second player could be in a helicopter.
Or man in the gun or something. Like one person drove, one person...
There was a Jeep. You had a 1 on the hood and a 2 on the hood. You were dropped off by a helicopter, and I think you could get power-ups that brought a helicopter in.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but I'm pretty positive you're both in Jeeps. Been a long time since I played it, though. But so you're shooting tanks, you're running over people. One of my favorite things to do.
Yes.
And the whole point of this was to rescue prisoners of war.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot down the buildings that were glowing. The guy would run out, get in your Jeep, and you would keep going.
Right.
They're little towers, weren't they?
They're just like everything was a box.
Yeah, everything's a box.
Yeah.
Brown and
Like
green.
the one,
It looks
they had different boxes. Like one would have a gun, would only have like a turret gun on one side. Then they had one with 2 sides. Then they had one on 4 sides.
I think
Right?
it's
Like
making
that.
this game better than it was.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of a different game. You're thinking of...
This was just boxes, more or less.
Yeah, I know the game that you're thinking
Yeah,
of.
but they had different number of guns on each one, and they were north, south, east, west.
Not all your buildings even have guns. Like some of them, you just
No,
they're
not
just
all the
built-
ones, but there was some that did. The guns that did, they either came in 2, in 1, 2, or 4.
Yeah,
As far as the
this game's
directions
more
they
like
shoot.
this game's more like Commando. I know the one that you're thinking of, but I can't think of what the name of it is. This game is a lot more like Commando. Like except for you're in a car.
Right, you got
That's the
you
only
got
difference.
boats pulling up. You got tanks
Yeah.
coming at you. You got dudes running out. Now I never shot a dude. I always ran over a dude
Yeah,
because that is by far the most fun you can have.
that would be a trophy.
and,
if it
and you're
were a
driving
modern
straight
game.
up like Jeep ass Jeeps.
Yeah, but you could put like 50 guys in one.
Yeah. So Jackal, this game does hold up if you have a way to go back and play it. If not, then you should definitely watch about 6 minutes of gameplay.
It does hold up.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe you could totally play this with a buddy today and laugh and have fun.
Yeah, I believe that's probably true. You're right.
Yeah. I think older games either completely hold up or don't hold up at all.
There's no in between.
Right. I don't think you ever play anything you're like, it's all right. Like I don't believe that happens. I believe they hold up or they don't.
This monster that I'm watching play this game is just leaving POWs behind.
God damn it.
Oh, unfair.
Yeah. Hope he burns for that move.
Yeah, no shit.
So Dan will go next week. I just want to
Fuck that.
up
Fuck
front with
that.
that.
Actually, I can't go next week. I don't think I'll be able to be on next week.
It was a dandy time to bring that up.
Oh, I'm behind the scenes. Now I have to do this camping birthday thing. It's a family thing. Apparently that's how families work.
Matt will do next week.
They have things.
Yep, I'll be here next week.
They have things, and then you have to go to them and have to camp.
I guess that's your family because I don't go to my family's things.
Yeah.
Now, let's be very clear. It's not my family. Let's tell
We
you
had a family
everything
thing
you need to
yesterday that
know.
we skipped.
My family does those things. I've not gone enough that I don't even get the invites anymore.
Well, no, I don't get those invites from my family either.
I'm just saying.
It's not
Stay
my
home,
family.
play Jackal.
I would love to.
I wish Jackal had an online component right now and we could play.
Yeah.
Like that's
This
how
looks like a load of fun.
that's how much I believe in Jackal holding up. I would play it today.
I'll tell you what, this guy could get a lot more dudes in his Jeep if he didn't have 2 guys by default in there.
All right.
Like 2 guys get off the helicopter and into the Jeep, and then you can only hold 8 guys in your Jeep. You could hold 9 if you kick that other dude out.
Maybe you got to sit on some laps or something too. This has been My Gone But Not Forgotten. If you have one for us, make sure you use the hashtag GBNF on Twitter at @game_Stitch and let us know what gem from the past that you love. What game that we should talk about.
Gibbonf.
Right. Gibbonf. It's a hard F on the end.
Gibbonf.
Gibbonf.
Hashtag.
It's 40 Fs.
That'll be enough. That'll do.
Sounds like you got a mouthful of man sauce.
Ooh. Is that like a spicy sriracha?
That's more of a Chipotle.
Okay.
Sriracha.
This has been the official Gamestitch Podcast. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
You beautiful listeners.
Oh.
You beautiful listeners. You got a nice set of ears on you, that's all I'm saying. And we appreciate you.
Lovely. It's funny that you say that.
What, about the ears?
The way you said it, because my final thing.
Hold on. I gotta do the social medias first.
Okay.
Cart's way before the horse.
I was just following. You segued and didn't
It
even
felt
know
natural.
I
I
get
get it, but I gotta fuck it up because we don't do natural here. You could follow all of us at @game_Stitch on Twitter. You can follow Matt at GoddammItMatt. You can follow Dan at TellHurst2002, or you can follow me at Podcast Ryan. You should do one and or all of those things. To cover all your bases, you should follow at @game_Stitch. Now it's time for Dan to tell you about ears and or head dishes.
It's not about ears, no.
You hyped it up to be about ears.
No, I hyped it up to be about the creepiness of what you said it. With which you said it.
I don't believe I was creepy, but go ahead.
Anytime you watch a movie, like the love stories, like you watch Jerry Maguire or one of those. Anytime that person's about to have sex in a movie, it's the first thing they do.
Make out?
No, it always shows the guy taking his shirt off.
Oh, sure.
But in the movies where it's like not the protagonist that is having sex, for some reason they always show him unzipping his fly first.
So you're saying the good guy takes the shirt off first,
but the bad guy unzips his fly first. That's when you know
he doesn't
bad
even
sex
care
is gonna
enough to take his
happen in a
clothes
movie.
off.
Yeah,
how you
I'm
know it's
thinking
gonna happen in a
immediately
movie.
of Empire Records. Is the first thing that comes to mind, where the dude just like leans back from a plate of whatever the hell he's eating.
Yeah, Max.
Yeah, he drops the fly and he's like, "Well, get on, baby."
Yeah,
I think that's on purpose, though. I think they want to show
that's supposed to like accent the creepiness of the person.
I don't think the creepiness. I think it's supposed to accent the fact that he doesn't care. He shouldn't be liked.
Well, I mean, she's in that situation too.
Right.
Should she not be liked for wanting to have floozy sex?
He doesn't even care enough to take the pan off.
Yeah, but if she's trying to have just a quickie with a stranger, with a rando, like, does it matter? Like, if they're both consenting adults that are both like, well, let's just do this.
I
don't see the problem.
I can't comment on movies. What I can comment on is real life. And the first thing you should always take off are your socks.
No.
God, I don't know, man. Your feet fucking stink.
Feet don't stink, and I can't stand two nasty humans banging with socks on. That's what I can't stand.
I don't mind banging with
sometimes
socks
I
on.
leave just my socks.
You could take
on.
the most attractive people in the world, you put them in a pair of ankle biters. No way those people look good.
Wrong.
Sometimes I leave my socks on just to see if Ricky catches it.
Well, I hope she does.
Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't.
I could be walking. Yeah, I could be walking like past a hotel room with two people in there doing it. I would knock on the door and tell them to take their socks off.
I just don't want my feet to be cold while I'm.
Oh my God! Are you serious right now?
I don't want feet. I don't want my feet to be cold ever. So.
Yeah, dude.
Who's focusing on their feet?
Somebody who's worried about their feet being cold takes them out of the game.
PSA: take your socks off.
I could do two things at once, pal. All right.
Yeah, dude. What if having cold feet takes you out of the game? You can't perform.
Then be out of the game. Pop a blue bomber and take your socks off. Because you look like a major douche wearing socks naked.
No one's watching you.
I'm telling you, it's not a good look.
Maybe in your world they're watching you. In my
the cameras
world, they
are
don't.
always up. The cameras are always up.
I don't invite people over to watch me have sex like you do.
You'll find
it's
that
weird
that's
to me.
less distracting than having socks on.
No, you're wrong. because I do it with socks on. I don't have a fucking problem. I perform like a champ.
You perform better without them.
You don't know? No, I perform the same with or without. The socks
No,
not come into
it's
play.
not for you. It's for your partner.
My partner's not looking at my feet. If she's looking at your feet, you're doing it wrong.
She can do
Now,
two
where
things
do
at once.
Let me ask you this: where do you stand on like not removing all your clothes?
You can keep all your clothes on as long as you take your socks off.
So like just pants and boxers around your knees, shirt just down in the way, but as long as you took
So,
your socks and shoes off first.
I'll allow, if you're going to drop to ankle, I'll allow socks to stay on. You can even keep shoes on.
Drop to ankle? Hell no, dude. Drop to knees.
Yeah, I'll allow socks to stay on for that. But if you're going to take your pants off, your socks have to come off.
Do you pull your shirt up and hold it under your chin so you don't get some
Well, what am I
stinky on
supposed
it?
to do with my winter boots then?
I take my shirt. Why are you wearing
You don't wanna get-
shoes? Let me ask you this:
If you
do
don't-
you take your pants off and then put your shoes back on?
Yes, it's role play.
Okay.
It's a thing.
If you don't-
is it okay in role play?
Negative.
If you don't want to get
What if it's
cooter
part
juice
of the
on your
roll?
shirt, do you hold it under your chin or do you take it off?
I take my shirt off, or I don't care.
What, the shirt?
Yeah.
No, I pull
Yeah.
it up over my head and tuck it behind my, tuck the
You're
bottom
a
up.
fucking psychopath.
I imagine Dan looks like a kindergartner who pees at the urinal with his pants around his ankles, and he also pulls his
Let me
shirt
explain
over his
what Dan-
head so
let me
he doesn't
explain
get
Dan.
pee on.
He's got socks and winter boots on, no pants, and his shirt up over his head like Beavis style.
He's got like a full
Cornholio
shirt full
style.
Nelson on.
No, it's not cornholio, okay? What you do...
It's like a full Nelson.
Yes. Yes. Yes, like a full Nelson.
No. You must
God.
exclusively operate from behind.
Role play. Role play.
Because nobody wants to see any of
You
this.
must
Wrong.
exclusively operate from the back.
You don't understand what winter boots and that full Nelson shirt do for a man. That's a
Am I
thing,
doing?
man. Chicks dig it. Try it.
I can't think of a better way to end this podcast
Right.
than that visual.
Good God.
Let us know. Podcast at Gamestitch.com. Socks on or off? I don't know if we've ever asked a more important question.
I don't think it doesn't matter either way.
Yeah, it matters. Also hit us up on Twitter at
doesn't matter.
@game_stitch. Socks, yes or no? Just keep in mind, if it's socks are a yes, then you're a murderer.
Socks, y'all or no?
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's any
Yes or no?
correlation. There's no correlation
Y'all or no?
between socks on during sex and murderer. There's no correlation there. You're
Now,
making shit up.
I want to be clear though. If you're keeping clothes on, if you're keeping your pants on, your socks are allowed to stay. I don't want to come off like you got to take your socks off for no reason.
Like a heartless son of a bitch.
Right. If you're allowing the pants to stay on, the socks can stay. But if you're just boxers or anything, if the pants are removed, just treat the pants and the socks as one. I think that's the right way to do that.
Does anybody like if you're behind, you like flex or anything like that?
No.
It's like catch a look at yourself in the mirror and
No.
shoot a finger pistol.
I wish this podcast would have ended 30 seconds ago.
Is that something you do?
Yeah, there's a move. It's called the Psycho Flex from American Psycho.
I know.
But do
this-
you
the
do it?
psycho, you do it?
Yeah, dude.
You ever just put your hands on your own ass and think it's somebody else?
Yeah, dude, all the time.
This has been episode 186 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. Thanks for being here. Be sure to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Google Music, Play, Listen, Android music style. Whatever you listen on, rate us, follow us, share us, subscribe to us. Tell your friends about us. Let your grandmother know. Good night.
Was that it? Good night.
Yeah, I'll say good night.
Oh, I missed it.
Y'all want to say it
Your
now?
your microphone kept cutting out.
You want to say it now?
Good night. Good night. Go ahead.